Ladies and gentlemen, again, really glad that you're here this afternoon, whether you're watching on Flow Racing or you're here in person, getting your face painted, buying a 50-50 ticket, checking out the custom-made Winchester Fair trophies. They are extremely, they're just outstanding. If you were here in May for the Duel with the Dog, you saw the special trophies. And every single JDV event has a theme, whether it's the Granite State Derby, the Duel with the Dog, or in this case, the Winchester Fair. It's the heart of fair season, and we're celebrating it tonight. And if we do end up racing under the lights here tonight, it's you really need to see it. It's going to light up the entire, not the entire racetrack, that's too dramatic, but you're going to really enjoy what you see. You can get a preview, though, at the JDV Productions tent, the merch tent, where you can get the Summer Meltdown Savings. We were going to call them the Blowout, but I realized we were at a racetrack, and that's probably bad karma. So we're going to call it the Meltdown Savings because it's a really, really hot day. So on the Meltdown portion of the program, how about buying a sweatshirt? I know, seems kind of ridiculous, but why not? It's going to be pretty cold next week. You're going to wish that you had it. And speaking of our Flow Racing viewers, a special hello to you. How about the people who are in attendance this afternoon as they make their way down the front straightaway? Give a wave to the camera. You're live on Flow Racing. Okay, boys, good job. Thank you for waving to the camera. Appreciate that. I saw one thing go up, and I was hoping it was a thumb, and I'm glad it was, or an index finger. Thanks for keeping it family friendly. So whether you're here in attendance in person or you're watching it on Flow, thank you for supporting local short track racing here in the Granite State. The final race for the Granite State Short Track Cup, where someone will be crowned a champion tonight. Special 3-race series, which started back in May here. Was supposed to end in Claremont, New Hampshire, but we had a bit of a rain situation there. That event was canceled. So back at home here, where it started, back in May. Next on the track, we are scheduled to go qualifying at 5 o'clock with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, setting the field for tonight's 150-lap event. And this race, quite a bit different, different tire, different strategy, with the last race being 200 laps. Last couple events that we've had here have been 200 laps. So to do 150, that is the extra sprint, where it's going to be all show here tonight. And I'd like to, it's my pleasure to welcome in the voice of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour to the program, whether you're watching on...
Cotton candy?
I'm today years old.
What about, is it Topsom?
Yes, the
Topsom. They have a demo derby there?
Yes, they do.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. I remember that. We went last year. Was that 4th of July weekend they do that? I don't remember.
They do that, yeah, early August. It's definitely a fun time. It's one of the biggest first fairs of the year, but it all culminates with the Freiburg Fair at the beginning of October. And next fair I go to, there's no way I'm going to a fair and not having fried cheesecake. I didn't know it was a thing. You got to do it.
It's a thing.
They just dip it?
Fried anything. I mean, do Oreos. You can do
the Oreo, but never the cheesecake.
Well, the nice thing is when you bite into it, right? It's cold on the inside, creamy, but it's still warm.
I'm not going to finish this day. I'm going to find myself another fair.
Hey, there you go. No. Where are you going to? No. Stay here. This is the fair.
Yeah, we do have
Winchester
a lot of good
Fair.
things going on here tonight, and really glad that you're here. Whether you're, you're just getting here. If you're just getting here, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour autograph session has been moved. The feature race has been moved. Joe, you have been down in the pits. Can you take the temperature? Have you taken the temperature of these race teams and the punches they've been thrown here today? And how do they feel about the way things have gone this afternoon, and how have they had to pivot?
Well, it's really interesting because at this point in the season, everybody's been working together. There's a couple of new changes back in the pit area that have created a little bit of interest, and we've seen that. We'll get into that a little bit later on some of the changes behind the scene. But really what everybody's focused on tonight is the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup. I mean, you've got an opportunity, this great event put together by JDV Productions and the entire team, Whelen Engineering providing the backing of the series that allows a mini championship, a little mini series of the races here in the Granite State. And that's created a tremendous amount of excitement. That's one of the reasons why Doug Kobe and Tommy Baldwin returned to the series here tonight in that 7 New York, because he's leading the standings there after his win here earlier this year, and he wants to carry that momentum and get a chance to win the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup here tonight. So while we get underway here, we've got an opportunity to look at qualifying. Earlier today in practice, it was Austin Beers who had the quickest time of record, and that is the last car that'll come out to take time as a result. We'll get into where this looks. This is Melissa Fifield from Wakefield, New Hampshire. She's in the 01 machine. Worked her way up inside the top 10 in the championship standings here for the 2023 campaign. Last time these series raced, it was out right next to Lake Ontario in New York, in western New York, where they raced at the Oswego Speedway. Melissa was caught up in an incident in that one, and that took her out of the running order for last weekend's event. So she's looking to rebound here today at Monadnock Speedway. Her lap time was a 12.735 for Melissa Fifield. Just to give you a bit of context, what they'll be shooting for today, earlier in the day, that fast time set by Austin Beers was a 12.708. It's 12.708, and so that is a time that was set in the heat of the day, although it hasn't really cooled off all that much yet, but certainly the weather is changing and will start to cool off, and the track conditions will change as a result. Here's Corey Plummer in the number 1 modified, the Apex Racing Jeans Auto Service entry. Corey back out on track, making his second start here at Monadnock. He did not finish DNF in the opening race. He had a suspension problem there, so he's looking to have a better result in the 1 car here this evening. Lap number 1, a 13.499 will put him on the top for the moment. Checkered flag is out, a 13.351 for Corey Plummer. This racetrack has some nuances that the drivers will look to manipulate as the race goes on. You can see the white and blue rumble strips at the bottom of the racetrack. That has certainly changed the way this course is run and how you exit turns 3 and 4. But if you take a look up at turn number 2, there's that Credit One Bank banner. And right there's a little bit of a bump in the racetrack. And with these high-powered NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour engines and race cars, you'll hear the engine RPM come up just a tick at that part of the racetrack, and so you've got to be very careful not to spin the tires and get yourself into trouble. Here's Ken Hagee in the number 18 out of Calverton, New York, the Bowie One Seafood and Restaurant Modified. Ken is 7th in points, his career best run in the championship standings so far this year, coming off of a 13th place finish at Langley Speedway a couple of weeks ago in Virginia. Last week, just outside the top 10 in 11th. Ken Hagee back after it here today. Let's see what he can do in qualifying. His quicker of the 2 laps, lap number 2, and it's a 13.228 for Ken Hagee, who lives just within stone's throw of the Riverhead Raceway down on Long Island, where the series will race 1 week from today. There's a driver tonight making his debut in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, Granby, Massachusetts driver Nate Wenzel, the 1812 paint and auto body modified. Rookie of the year at Claremont Speedway last season, and he's got race victories right here at Monadnock Speedway. And one of the things that's always great about racing this track is you tend to get a lot of drivers that don't always run the series schedule full time, but do have the opportunity to join the Whelen Modified Tour for select events like this one here at Monadnock Speedway. And so out on track, Nate Wenzel going to try to bring this 81 machine around and qualify for his first Whelen Modified Tour race, and that'll be tonight's Winchester Fair, a 150-lap event. Nate will come across the line. He'll be second for Nathan Wenzel, a 13.271 on the second lap, a bit quicker. We highlighted the length of this race. It's not the first time that a race for the Whelen Modified Tour at Monadnock has been only 150 laps. The last time, though, was about 23 years ago. Jamie Tomeno won it. It was in 1990. And so it's been a while, but being that the races are usually 200 laps in distance instead of 150, the sense back in the garage area is that that creates a little more urgency for the drivers that are out on track. And that's one thing that we're going to keep an eye on tonight, is how aggressive the drivers will be on restarts to gain positions when it matters most and when everybody's bundled up. Here's Old Blue. Car 3, it's driven by Jake Johnson from Rehoboth, Massachusetts. White flag comes out, and he's the first car into the 12-second range. This team was not happy at all with their car in practice earlier today. They threw the kitchen sink at this setup. They were working on this car right up until the last minute before they had to go into inspection. There you see the car break it up a little bit as he came up off turn number 4, whether he was feathering the throttle, but it certainly did not sound happy coming up off turn number 4, but he does improve his speed, a 12.953 for the 3 car of Jake Johnson. Here's Jacob Perry in the 21 car from Stonington, Connecticut, the Royal Screw Machine entry in the family car, car number 21, making his second start of the season. And this race car is a brand new car for Jacob Perry. It was run a couple of times with another driver at the New Smyrna Speedway during Speed Weeks in February, but they acquired this race car, did a little bit of a test with it down at the Waterford Speed Bowl in Connecticut, their home track, before having a chance to bring it up here to Monadnock. So pretty new race car for this team, and Jacob Perry will slot in second after lap 1 as he tries to guide this car around to pick up a little bit more speed and get inside that 12-second range that it'll take to be on the pole here tonight. Picks up quite a bit on that second lap. 12.830 for Jacob Perry in the 21 car. It is a pretty quick turnaround for the Whelen Modified Tour cars. The race has been moved up to a 6:30 start here tonight. So just be aware of that as we roll through. They'll go back into the garage area. They'll have an impound opportunity, and those cars will get settled in, and the drivers will get ready to go racing this evening. But 6:30 start tonight if you're joining us in person or watching at home on Flow Racing. Here's Brett Meservey. No stranger to fans here at Monadnock Speedway, but this is his debut in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. He's driving Steve Mendoza's number 59, the BMP Machine car out of Boston, Massachusetts. Third-generation driver in the famous Meservey family here in New England, looking to make his mark on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. You only get to make one debut race, and for Brett Meservey and Nathan Wenzel, that night is tonight. Checkered flag is out. Meservey will slide into third with a 13.031 as he looks to build on the runs that he's had here in the past, whether it be in the Pro 4 modifieds or in open tour type modifieds throughout the Northeast over the past several months. Here is Tyler Ripkema from Owego, New York, the Northeast Drilling Musco Lighting number 32. Tyler, back on the series full-time this year, has landed him inside the top 5 of the championship standings, and he's got a run of 3 consecutive top 10 finishes, including a very quick car a week ago at Oswego Speedway, which is his home track. Now, he's from Owego, New York, which is still about 2 hours away from Oswego, New York. And they still called that their home track because they had quite a few laps on that facility. You can hear the power of these Whelen Modified Tour cars coming off the corner and how much they've got to really baby that right foot, as Tyler Ripkema did, to go to a 12.897 and slide into the second spot. You know, for people who maybe don't follow racing like many of you do, they'll tell you, well, if you're in a race, why don't you just step on the gas and go a little bit further? Well, at a track like here at Monadnock, sometimes it's putting that egg under the pedal and being very ginger with that right foot, gentle on the steering wheel, and being smooth is what it takes to win. You stab that throttle with the right foot, you're going to spin those tires, and if you don't spin yourself out in the process, you're probably going to wear that right rear tire out. And that right rear tire tonight is something that these drivers will have to protect if they want to be holding the checkered flag in that beautiful Winchester Fair trophy at the end of 150 laps here tonight. On track, the 25 car, he is a former NASCAR New Hampshire state champion in the form of Brian Roby. Here's a guy that knows how to get around the tracks. They're part of the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup, Monadnock Speedway here. No different this evening. Checkered flag is out for Brian Roby, and he's going to go to the top, a 12.828 for Brian Roby. Here's how they look through 9 cars so far. Brian Roby, number 1. Jacob Perry is 2. Tyler Ripkema, 3. 4th, that's Jake Johnson. Brett Meservey holding on to the top 5. Ken Hagee, Nathan Wenzel, Corey Plummer, and Melissa Fifield. That is the running order so far, midway through qualifying. Here is the 22 car. This is Kyle Bonsignor, who won just 2 races ago at the Langley Speedway in Virginia. Took a pass with 4 laps to go to get the victory that day. Just moved back to Salisbury, North Carolina, after spending the last 5 years commuting from his home in Illinois to race on the Whelen Modified Tour. And hey, if anybody's looking for a nice home in Illinois, I know a guy you could talk to, because Kyle Bonsignor's got that house in the market. He's moved back to North Carolina, and as soon as he did, he got a win in the Whelen Modified Tour, his 2nd career victory, and he will go to the number 1 spot, a 12.827 for Kyle Bonsignor. We're taking a look at some of the lap times up here in the tower, and Kyle Bonsignor had 2 very consistent laps, a 12.86 on lap 1, a 12.82 on lap 2, and that is the most consistent that we have seen of anybody out on track. So Kyle Bonsignor right now number 1. Consistency, something to look at on cars that will go a long run here this evening. Here's one of the fan favorite modified drivers in New England. This is Woody Pitkat. He drives Stan Mertz's owned number 6 modified, as Mertz always had a dream of being able to be a Whelen Modified Tour car owner. He wanted to compete in the modified series and had raced with Woody Pitkat, won a championship, I think it was 2016 at the Thompson Speedway in Connecticut in the Sunoco modified division. But his heart and his goal before he packed up his race team was to be able to race in the Whelen Modified Tour, and he said, if I'm going to do that, I want Woody Pitkat as my driver. Pitkat will qualify 6th with a 13.004, as Pitkat's got a couple of races still left on the schedule to complete his 2023 campaign for Stan Martz in their part-time effort. So as we look at qualifying here today, you go back to the spring race that we had in the month of May. Doug Coby won that race and he started 4th. But prior to that, 8 consecutive race victories came from a driver that started 1st or 2nd. So as we get down to the second half of the field here and qualifying starts to ratchet up, those drivers know that. Qualifying on the front row, statistically, is a good omen when you're racing here at Monadnock. But up next is a 92 car. Anthony Nocella, he returns back to the family modified team. Woburn, Massachusetts driver had jumped in another car, the 46 car, the Goodale family, and the Goody Racing number 46. That didn't work out. They parted ways. Nocella back with his family number 92, and he's on top. 12.805 for Anthony Nocella. Puts that car number 1 for the moment. We'll see whether or not he can hang on to that number 1 spot with some heavy hitters still left to come, and including the 43 car of Matthew Kimball. Matt Kimball was lightning fast when we were here in May. Now this year, the combination of the tires this fall is a little bit different, and he said earlier today that I'm getting used to this tire. I don't run this series full time. All these other drivers on tour, they're used to the new tire that they've been running on the Whelen Modified Tour over the past couple of months. But Matt Kimball was so fast the last time we were here, but he spun on practice or in his qualifying lap, and that prevented him from having a good day just when we raced here in May. But now Matt Kimball is trying to pick up the pace again. 8th on lap 1 at 13.020. Eases it through turns 3 and 4, and as the checkered flag comes out, I'm not so sure Matt knew he had a second lap on that one. He was easing it down the back straightaway, rolled back onto the gas, and I think, just speculation, Matt Kimball might have left a little bit on the table there, not realizing that he had another lap to complete in his qualifying run. So that might be a tough break for the 43. Here comes Sammy Ramu out of Westminster, Mass. The Quality Fleet Services Denison 06. Here's a guy that knows how to get around this racetrack. 3rd start this season, was 6th earlier here at Monadnock, the other Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup race at Lee USA Speedway. He was 4th that day. He's been quick every time he showed up to race with the Modified Tour, and he is 5th on his opening circuit. 12.8, not that far away from the pole. Can he move the needle? And he does. 12.762. How about that kid from Westminster, Massachusetts? That is Sammy Ramu getting it done here in qualifying. Just a tick off the quick time that was set in practice earlier today by Austin Beers. They are closing in on that fast lap time here at Monadnock. This is the 82 car from Miller Place, New York, Craig Lutz, and the Danny Watts-owned Modified. Now, when we started today, we talked about some of the personnel changes that are happening behind the scenes. And tuning the wrenches for this 82 car here this weekend, and has been over the past couple of races, is Dale Hedquist, who was a championship-winning crew chief with John McKennedy a year ago. This 82 team early in the year struggled with speed. They did not have the speed in the race car that they wanted, but the last couple of weeks, they were outstanding, including a strong run at Oswego last week before an engine expired in the late going. Craig Lutz was a factor, and he was a factor for really the first time all season long. Lutz in the 82 burps the throttle as they come across the line. He's not going to be happy with that qualifying effort. 8th with a 12.966 for Craig Lutz in the number 82 car. Here is a driver that they are all chasing. The 16 car, Norwalk, Connecticut's Ronnie Silk. Silk is a championship point leader over Justin Bonsignore. He's got a 4-win season going, including the last race 1 week ago. Silk has been smooth, and they call him Smooth as Silk as a result. And he's been good here at Monadnock. As a matter of fact, he's led over 200 laps over the past 3 races here at this racetrack. But he is yet to get a victory at Monadnock. And that is something that this team is hunting, is a hunt not only the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup Championship here today, but also an opportunity to be able to win the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Championship. See Silk well wide through turns 1 and 2 last time through, smooth up off turn 4, but it is not enough to knock Sammy Ramu off the pole. Ronnie Silk goes to 3rd at 12.826. Up next, he's a 6-time Whelen Modified Tour champion. He is the current leader in the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup Championship standings. And he is the spring winner here at Monadnock Speedway. We're talking about Doug Coby in the 7 New York, making his return to Whelen Modified Tour competition. If you hadn't heard the news, his car owner, championship-winning, Daytona 500-winning crew chief, Tommy Baldwin, was diagnosed with cancer. He decided to step away and focus on his health. They missed 2 races. Tommy Baldwin's back here at the racetrack today. He brought his 7 New York team. They're here to defend their win from the spring race. They're here to win the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup. And when I say win, Doug Coby dominated this race here in the spring. And the 7 New York right now is going to be 3rd, though. A 12.812 Coby to 3rd in the 7 New York. That'll bring up Justin Bonsignore. Bonsignore, a favorite just about everywhere we go. 4-time winner here at this racetrack. 2nd in the championship standings and a 3-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion. Bonsignore in the Phoenix Communications number 51 hails from Holtsville, New York. Trying to put this car on the front row. Lap number 1 for Bonsignore. It's a quick one. 2nd overall. 12.789 for Justin Bonsignore. One more car to follow after the 51 car. Checkered flag is out, and it's a 7-1-8. Bonsignore to the top, a 12.718, and then there was one. That'll bring out the 64 car from Northampton, Pennsylvania. This is Austin Beers. 2-time winner this season. 3rd in the championship standings. And he's 2nd in the Whelen Granite State Cup. He's got an opportunity to win that here tonight. What can the young Austin Beers do? He's got a ton of momentum. He's already got 4 poles this season. Has had one of the fastest cars week in and week out. Can he conquer Monadnock tonight? Lap 1, a 12.856. That is nowhere near as fast as what Justin Bonsignore laid down. It's only good enough for 9th for Austin Beers. Checkered flag is out. He'll pick up a bunch, and he will go second. Austin Beers at 12.728. That'll be second. Justin Bonsignore has won the pole position for tonight's Winchester Fair. He'll lead the field around to the green flag here this evening. Let's take a look at how they went. Justin Bonsignore, number 1. Austin Beers will start on the front row. Row 2, Sammy Ramu and Anthony Nocella. 5th, it'll be Doug Kobe alongside Ron Silk. 7th, Kyle Bonsignore and Brian Roby will qualify 8th. 9th for Jacob Perry and 10th for Tyler Ripkema. Jake Johnson qualified 11th. Craig Lutz was 12th. 13th for Woody Pitcat. Matt Kimball was 14th. Brett Meservey was 15th. Ken Hagee 16th. Nathan Wenzel in his debut will start 17th. Corey Plummer 18th. And 19th tonight will be Melissa Fifield. Well, if you're just joining us here at Monadnock, fans, this is the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, the inaugural running of the Winchester Fair. 150 laps on tap, and in 4 laps, they'll be racing. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Whelen Modified Tour Winchester Fair. On the pole position, a 4-time winner here at Monadnock Speedway, it is Justin Bonsignore. He'll line up alongside the 64 car, a 2-time winner in the 2023 season and second in the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup Championship standings. That is the young Austin Beers. Row number 2, the inside lane, part-time runner but big-time performer. The 06, it's Sammy Ramu out of Westminster, Mass. with a top 5 finish earlier this season. Lining up alongside Woburn, Massachusetts, driver number 92, Anthony Nocella, a winner at the Mile, the Magic Mile, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Doug Kobe returns to the competition. He's a 6-time series champion and the current leader in the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup Championship standings. He'll start 5th alongside a 4-time winner this season, Ron Silk, and the championship point leader driving car 16. Starting 7th out of Bayshore, New York, the Langley Speedway winner, the 22, is Kyle Bonsignore, lining up alongside the New Hampshire Short Track champion by NASCAR, Brian Roby, in the 25 car. Jacob Perry starts 9th here tonight in his 2nd start this season alongside 5th man in points Tyler Ripkema in the 32. Jake Johnson starts 11th in the 3 car. 4-time Whelen Modified Tour winner Craig Lutz to his outside in 12th, car 82. Woody Pitcat starts 13th in the 6 car alongside fan favorite here at Monadnock, Matt Kimball in the 43 car. And making his debut out of Boston, Massachusetts in the 59, his debut for Brett Meservey. Ken Hagee, 7th in the championship standing, starts 16th tonight rather in the 18 car. And Nate Wenzel, a debut for him in car number 81, starts 17th. Corey Plummer will start 18th in the 1 modified, and Melissa Fifield rounds out our starting lineup for the inaugural Winchester Fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, with Racing with Jesus pacing the field, look at this strong, strong division of NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour competitors. And we have sat through a few showers this afternoon. We've moved the schedule all around, and it's all led up until this moment. You heard the starting lineup. You know what's on the line for all of these race drivers and the race teams. We're live on Flow Racing, and if you are in person, find a favorite driver right now. You will be on Flow. The cameras will pan across to you. But for you that are here, find a driver that you want to cheer for and cheer for loud. Time to salute them. Starting in turn number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, on your feet, salute these warriors of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour drivers. We salute you.
Whelen Modified Tour action is the core of short track racing in New England. We're here at the Monadnock Speedway, the Winchester Fair. 150 laps about ready to become unleashed. Justin Bonsignore on the front row. He's the Mayhew Tool pole winner, and we'll bring him around to see the green flag tonight in Monadnock. Lap 1, it'll be Justin Bonsignore. The battle is on for second, though. Sammy Ramu, trouble! And the championship leader is in it. Ron Silk is involved. Tyler Ripkema is involved. Jake Johnson in the back half of the field. What a moment that happened here on the front straightaway, and several cars immediately dart to pit lane.
And fortunately, it doesn't look like many of them are badly mangled. Woody Pitcat pulls away, so does Craig Lutz. Ken Hagee slow to do so, and one driver, the 81, really looking worse for the wear, as that would be Nate Wenzel, doing double duty here tonight, and his first NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race starts off in a hurry. Starts off with trouble in a hurry.
So the opening circuit, just as they crossed the line to complete lap number 1, problems deeper in the field. One car launched over the left front tire of the championship point leader, Ron Silk. That has huge implications, not only in the Whelen Granite Short Track State Cup that's taking here tonight, but also the fact that the championship battle last week at Oswego Speedway took a dramatic turn. The problems for Justin Bonsignore while racing for a lap position or around a lap car. Contact was made. Let's take a look at the replay. Watch it deeper in the field. It started with the 21 car of Jacob Perry. He lost it on the inside lane of the racetrack. The car launched over the top of Ronnie Silk's left front tire. The two came together, and Silk continues on the speedway. But somehow, some way, that 16 car continued rolling forward.
Now, during the week between that race, the last race, and this race, Ronnie Silk went on record to say, hey, just because I have a bit of a cushion now doesn't mean that I'm comfortable. The exact same thing that happened to Justin on the last race could happen to me. And sure enough, on the very first lap of the event, or the first couple of laps of the event, your point leader and 4-time winner, Ronnie Silk, with problems in the first caution flag.
So interesting to see it. You know, you've got a championship battle where a couple of drivers were nearly flawless all season, did not have many bad races, but they always happen. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, talking to some of the drivers, and it's just so hard to go 18 races and be flawless. Mm-hmm. And this is still far from over. Only 4 laps in. Bonsignore finished 15th last week. Ron Silk went on to win the race, and Silk, in that 16 car, was trying to pull up to pit to the outside lane, but the safety vehicles on the front stretch, he wasn't able to go down pit road, as pit road is still closed. Corey Plummer is out of that one car. He walks to the Ford safety vehicle here along the front straightaway and will head back and be attended to, but that one car pulled off the racetrack. Tough break for him. Another look at it. Watch the 21 car on the inside lane. He catches the rumble strip up off turn 4. It got the car sideways and out of shape. And as soon as it made contact with the left front tire of Ronnie Silk's number 16, Jacob Perry went airborne.
Yeah, the 21-year-old driver, Jacob Perry, who's racing a lot of different disciplines this year. Of course, his start here at the Whelen Modified Tour, his starts are few and far between. He's raced the Modified Racing Series. He's also raced some full-bodied stuff down at Stafford Motor Speedway. So certainly busy every single weekend, but just a moment in turn number 4 gets him together with Ronnie Silk, and that's the worst guy in the field to have that happen to. The driver who, for the first time in the entire season, has a bit of a point cushion, but that just vanished.
Now, here's what's interesting. Justin Bonsignore is very much aware of what is going on right now. Ron Silk is pulled to his right side, not expected to make any pit stops in this race. There's no tire changes, but Ron Silk is making the indication that he's going to come down pit road, Phil Moran and the team, to take a look at that left front tire. Now, Silk has had the benefit of running around the racetrack for a couple of laps. He's a veteran driver. He knows what is or is not wrong with that 16 car. They'll release him as a green flight comes onto the pit lane, and all the attention will come to the 16 car as he goes down the hill around the back of the building and pit their car back out of sight. The crew frantically working to try to get this car repaired. They're working on the left front tire of this 16 car to see if they can get the toe pointed in the right direction and make sure that there's enough steering capability for the 16 of Ronnie Silk. Time is running quick, though, because Justin Bonsignore is on the front straightaway, and Ronnie Silk cannot afford to go a lap down. They've got to enter the racetrack over there in turn number 2, but Silk and his team frantically working back there in the pit area, trying to get that car repaired, stay on the lead lap. Will Silk make it up the hill? Can he make it up in time as they work their way? Here he comes! He made it! Silk, just in time, comes out onto the racetrack, and he beats the pace car, pace truck, and he'll stay on the lead lap. Unbelievable drama to kick things off in the Winchester Fair.
You know, Joe, you really got to give a credit to Andrew, his spotter, too, for being able to diagnose the situation. Now, there were multiple eyes on that number 16 car, but the driver, or excuse me, the individual who really was able to give the proper feedback to Phil Moran and the entire crew of what they needed to do in a very short amount of time. To think of what they did in the space of 30 to 45 seconds, miraculous, keeping their team on the racetrack on the lead lap. That could be a race-saving move. It could be a season-saving move. You never know how these point totals work out towards the end and where you gain the points you could have lost.
And Ron Silk is back out on track towards the tail end of the field, and he will restart in the 15th position. Up front, though, it's Sammy Raymond out to the outside of Justin Bonsignor. Green flag is out on lap number 9. Deeper in the field, a couple of cars are slow coming up to speed, but we stay under the green flag. Silk is around in turn 2.
More problems for your championship leader, and a left rear tire. It looks like it's down on the number 16, and the nightmare continues for Ronnie Silk, chasing down his second NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour championship, and also a favorite in the Granite State Short Track Cup, continuing to have problems.
But he has another life. Ronnie Silk did not lose a lap. Pit road is still closed. It's a quarter-mile racetrack, so he will stay at the tail end of the field. He'll now pull up to the right side, the outside lane, and begin to pit. This team has got their hands full. This is a veteran crew. It's a mix of the crew that Doug Coby won so many championships with. Phil Moran, Bob Tulipani, and the entire team that were part of that operation. And a great group of guys that Ronnie Silk and Joe Yanone and Tyler Haight, the car owner, put together. But what drama just 12 laps into the Winchester Fair, and we have seen this race turn upside down for the 16 car, the championship point leader, Ronnie Silk, not once but now twice.
And this is an all-star team, to your point, Joe, of if there are minds that can really figure this out in a hurry, it is that number 16 team with various crew members from Doug Coby's big championship run. That was recapped on the JDV Productions podcast with host Josh Pineda earlier this week. Phil Moran took a good half an hour to describe his walk through NASCAR, whether it was big NASCAR and why he's running the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour now, because this is home. This is where he really feels he belongs. Same thing with Tommy Baldwin, too, and it's interesting on how the two work together on the big NASCAR level, but now compete against each other on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
There's a tremendous amount of talent in modified racing. You look at not only the people that drive these race cars, most notably Ryan Preece, former series champion, who is making his way in his 4th season of the NASCAR Cup Series. Well, you've also got people that are on the spotter stand here at Monadnock Speedway who have NASCAR Cup Series victories. Ryan Blanchard won with Tyler Reddick at COTA as a spotter earlier this year. Anthony Buzello, who sponsored for the 22 car, he won with Shane Van Gisbergen in Chicago earlier this year. And so there's a lot of Cup talent that are here in the field. Now, the 16 car makes its way back out onto the racetrack.
He's going back around, so he is not finished yet. And Ronnie Silk screams down the racetrack with the clenched yellow. Next time by, looks like we're going to go green.
Ronnie Silk will stay on the lead lap. The NASCAR rules are laid out that the race vehicles have to pass and get back on track by a certain point in time, and he did that. He satisfied that requirement. The 16 car will stay on the lead lap, back in the 15th spot. He'll have another opportunity to carve his way through the field. We're ready to get back under the green flag. Justin Bonsignor, Sammy Raymond on the front row.
We almost forgot there was a battle for the lead. Green flag is in the air, and on lap number 15, we're back underway. Bonsignor gets the jump going into turn number 1, side by side for second. Downstairs, here comes Doug Coby on Sammy Raymond. Raymond closes the door in turn 3.
And a great battle behind them. It's Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 car working inside of Austin Beers, who's challenging for 5th. Right now, if it were to end, the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup champion for 2023 would be Doug Coby as he rides in the 3rd spot with Austin Beers in the 64 car. Second coming into this race, riding just behind him in the 5th position.
Couple of stories really brewing on your screen. You see in the back Woody Pitcat in car number 6. Stan Mertz is, trouble. One driver gets out of shape. That's the green number 59. He gets back underway. We stay green, but back to Woody Pitcat. They had, I believe, a certainly top 15 run, maybe an 11th place run for the duel at the Dog. That was one of their best runs of the year. This would be Stan Mertz's final season as a car owner, stepping up to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. They're having a great run. He's behind Tyler Ripkema as they make their way back into turn number 1.
Anthony Nocella, after driving the number 46 car for a couple of races, has moved back to his family team in that number 92 car. Nocella currently running in the 7th position, able to get by Austin Beers. Austin Beers is in no man's land right now. He is one of the only cars running the outside lane of the racetrack. His car was falling backwards quickly. You see him aggressively drop to the bottom and stop the advance of Tyler Ripkema in the 32.
One driver who's had a really rough afternoon, another young driver in this division, is Jake Johnson, an old blue number 3. He wholesale changes on that race car after practice sessions, and he really got out of shape last time over the speed bumps in turn number 4. Gathers it back up, but falls in line right behind Matt Kimball, who's having a great run. The local star right behind fan favorite Woody Pitcat. Look at that big battle in turn number 4.
It's a battle for the 4th spot. Here is Brian Roby, who wasn't all that satisfied with his race car earlier in the day today. He's able to move underneath Kyle Bonsignore and pick up a 4th spot. Now, Brian Roby, he's a driver that's got a lot of experience here at these New Hampshire short tracks, a former NASCAR New Hampshire state champion. He's got a lot of talent in that number 25 car.
How about Kyle Bonsignore? You mentioned with the move and certainly a shot in the arm with the recent victory as well. They've really found another gear of that number 22 race car. He's up inside the top 5, runs in 5th right now, right in front of Nocella. Austin Beers has settled down as well in number 64.
Battle is on for the race lead, though. Sammy Ramu has won many races here in modified competition. He knows how to get around this racetrack, and he is quickly closing in on Justin Bonsignore. But the counter to that is we still have 123 laps to go and a right rear tire that is untested for these Whelen Modified Tour cars, and conservation and the ability to save that right rear tire is going to be key when we get to the checkered flag.
And running the outside line is certainly not going to help. Matt Kimball now the victim of running the outside line. Here comes Craig Lutz down to the inside, and Ronnie Silk. Don't count out the number 16. You talk about a driver who's biding his time. He really probably took the last or the first half dozen laps of this run just to feel it out, to make sure the car was going to stay in one piece. And now that it has, he's down to the inside of Kimball off of turn number 4.
And he picks up the spot, but Kimball gets into the back bumper of the 16 car off screen at the moment. Kimball gave Ronnie Silk a shot on the front straightaway, and it unsettled the 16 car. We'll keep an eye on that off screen, but he is now 12th on the racetrack, Ronnie Silk.
Ronnie Silk at this point just wants to get out of Winchester. What a long 31 laps for him. Back up in front, though, you see Justin Bonsignore go around some lap traffic around Melissa Fifield, put some distance between himself and Sammy Ramo. Trouble for Fifield on the inside.
She went sliding through the infield rumble strips. She's through the grass now in the infield and rejoins on the back straightaway. We will stay under the green flag.
You see on your screen the 0-1 now back up in front. There's Justin Bonsignore down the back straightaway all by himself. Has the biggest advantage that he's had for the entire event. It's about 5 car lengths over Sammy Ramo. And just lurking in position number 3, it is Doug Kobe in the number 7.
Here is Ron Silk in the 16 car working over Woody Pitcat. This is now the battle for the 11th spot. Here is Silk inside turn 3, puts a wheel to the bottom. Pitcat very much respectfully knows he's racing for a championship, will allow Silk the racing room he needs to challenge to the bottom.
As a former champion himself, Woody Pitcat, again, showing that respect, has been in that position before. Meanwhile, back up to the battle for second, Kobe has reeled in Sammy Ramo, and they scream down the back straightaway.
Doug Kobe dominated the May race here at Monadnock Speedway. He led 188 laps that day to win the first race in the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup title hunt this year. He's been sidelined for a couple of races because of his car owner, Tommy Baldwin, was diagnosed with cancer and is undergoing treatment. Tommy Baldwin said, "I feel good enough to go racing here at Monadnock. I'm coming. And I'm coming for the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup." Running third right now, Doug Kobe doing what he needs to do to accomplish that for his team, the 7 New York, and his car owner.
It is the extra incentive they needed to get back to the racetrack this soon, and it was such a heartwarming scene to see Tommy Baldwin in the pits this afternoon. Tonight's 50-50. On a side note, the JDV side of the 50-50, 100% of the proceeds will go to the Pan Mass Challenge, which fights cancer and for cancer research, and they'll do that in the name of Tommy Baldwin.
Doug Kobe calming down a bit, backs off the back bumper of Sammy Ramu in that family 06. Ramu in that 06 is a senior in college, will graduate in a year, and he is studying to become a civil engineer that'll tie in with his family business and all the things that the Ramu family does up at this part of New England. And he is having an outstanding day. Going to take the entire team down to North Wilkesboro Speedway at the end of September. They're taking everybody with them. They're renting a house. They're going for a whole week. and they're going to race at North Wilkesboro when the Whelen Modifieds go to that racetrack for the first time in series history.
I cannot wait to see that. Sammy Ramo, who had a bit of a breakout performance last year at our first Whelen Modified Tour event, came up with a 4th place run, backed it up with a 6th place run, so certainly no stranger to running strong here in the Modified Series at Monadnock based on all the laps he has around him. You got to remember, he's just a kid too. He's can't be more than 20 years old. And you have so much great young talent in this division. You have Jake Johnson, you have Sammy Ramo, you have Austin Beers, who's had such a breakout year with his 2 victories. And Ronnie Silk back to the battle. Further on back is Matt Kimball. That is something that has perked up a few times. It's now in turn number 2. Kimball in the 43, the local hero, and Ronnie Silk has to be growing impatient with Kimball. Kimball gets the position, but still, they have knocked each other a half dozen times in the first 46 laps of this event.
Well, Kimball is the driver that really knows how to get around this racetrack. His brother is a crew chief. It's a family operation, and that 43 car is very, very strong when we come to Monadnock. Here's a good battle we're watching. The 22 car of Kyle Bonsignore. You float on through the field. You find that 43 of Matt Kimball. This guy is on the attack. He's going after Craig Lutz.
And Lutz has seen an uptick in performance the last couple of weeks, too. They were very, very frustrated with that race team. Changed some things around. John McKennedy's crew chief now calling the shots with the 82. And Kimball in the tire tracks. Last year, Kimball had a breakout qualifying run, qualified on the front row for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour event. Didn't get the result that day, but certainly put that in his mental notebook of, I know how to do this, I belong here. Once he feel, it's one of those things where you feel like you belong someplace, you're going to have a better result. And he's slicing through the field. Once he did get by Ronnie Silk, he's been able to put some distance between himself and the 16. It's about 2 car lengths, as you see it on your screen off of turn 4.
Just past 50 laps here in the Winchester Fair 150. We've talked about this race being a 200-lap race. All the way back to 1990 was the first time, or the last time, that they ran 150 laps here at Monadnock. And the teams told us before that there would be a sense of urgency to be able to press with 50 shorter laps. And we've seen that so far with a couple of cautions we had early on. They were getting after it and getting after it early.
I believe Jamie Tomeno was the winner of that event back in 1990, which en route to the 1990 Whelen Modified Tour Championship. One must wonder, with a win in the 150-lap race tonight, does that become a harbinger to the championship this year? Does that catapult that driver and keep that consistency with 150 laps at Winchester? Just a little footnote to watch as we begin to close out the season and the battle really heats up.
Right side of your screen, you see the 82 car of Craig Lutz. You were talking about how he has found that extra gear at this point in the season. I think that extra gear might have come in the form of a new crew chief. It's Dale Hedquist, who won the Whelen Modified Tour Championship last year, tuning the wrenches for the number 79 of John McKennedy. That team shuttered in June, not able to get that team back together. John McKennedy did run last week in Oswego for a different team. He drove for Gary Putnam, but Dale Hedquist was looking for something to do, and he joined this 82 team, and you can see the speed, the raw speed that Craig Lutz had in the last couple of races that he didn't have the first half of the season.
Yeah, you really got to love to see something like that for a driver who was, accustomed to running a certain way and not get the results that he's used to finally kind of getting back to where you would expect him to be. And Craig Lutz has done that the last couple of weeks. You have just such an interesting year for the Modified Series, for the Whelen Modified Series. You have, of course, the McKennedy team shuttering. You have Matt Hirschman involved in that incident at Thompson a couple of weeks ago that has kind of sidelined him. Even though he wasn't a full-time competitor, every time he showed up, he was going to be a threat to win. And as he continues to heal, it's been an interesting year for the Modifieds.
What's starting to get interesting is a battle for the race lead, too, Andy, because Justin Bonsignore got caught up in some lap traffic, and that has allowed Sammy Ramu to close in. Now that they've got open racetrack, Ramu is not as quick as Justin Bonsignore, but his lap times are very, very quickly mirroring what the 51 is doing. And Ramu, that car and that 06 car looking very strong here tonight, and we're approaching 62 laps, only 13 from halfway, and it doesn't look like it's starting to fade at all.
How about Brian Roby, too? Speaking of drivers who are closing in now, while Doug Kobe runs a solid third, Brian Roby, a driver who has so many laps on this racetrack, is bringing Kyle Bonsignore with him. Those drivers pull off a turn number 2 this time, and they are visibly catching the 7 New York, who's having a conservative race thus far. Not sure if he's showing his full hand. Doug Kobe, one of the most calculated drivers ever in modified competition, has about 15 million different thoughts each lap, and they're all different too. Studying where his race car's at, where the driver in front is, what he needs to do to hold off the driver in back of him. He knows he doesn't have the fastest race car right now, but he's going to find a way to try to get there within the next 85 laps or so. Doug Coby runs in third. It's still a great battle for fourth. Kyle Bonsignor is closing right in on Brian Roby. Roby, very fast here at the beginning of the race, but starting to slide just a little bit the last couple of laps.
Roby doesn't have the ability to run every single race, or doesn't run single race, I should say. So that doesn't give him the ability to know how these newer tires are going to change. The tires that we ran here in the May race at Monadnock are very different than what they're running here tonight. And the other teams have got that upper hand of knowing how they will impact and adjust over the course of a run. We'll see if Brian Roby can adapt to that quickly so far. Running fourth, having a good solid run of that 25 car, but still a long way to go.
So this race was supposed to start around 8 o'clock tonight, and if you're just tuning into Flow Racing for the first time and you're like, how come the modifieds are already on the racetrack? Well, we changed the schedule around due to the possibility of inclement weather. And if you're just joining us, you see Justin Bonsignor in the lead, but you look at your ticker and you see Ron Silk so far down in the list. Ron Silk has had a nightmare race, involved in a couple of incidents. Amazing work by his team to keep him on the lead lap, but he has been stuck in a battle with Matt Kimball for about the last 35 laps, and he's having a very tough week for the championship leader.
I think Justin Bonsignor a week ago put himself in position where he really didn't have an opportunity to stick and keep pace with Ronnie Silk, and he knows today that Ronnie Silk is in trouble, and he could make up for the issue they had last week at Oswego. He was racing with Tommy Catalano inside the top 5. Justin Bonsignor drove into the back of Gary McDonald, a lap machine that was on the bottom. Catalano was in the outside lane trying to protect the groove. Some say a racing incident, but Justin Bonsignor earlier today, joking in the pit area, said, you know, as long as I don't run into a lap car this week, I'll be all right. He knows that the mistake, was it his? Was it Catalano's? Was it McDonald? It doesn't matter. It's behind him. He's got to focus on what's ahead, and right now that's to take advantage of the mistake and the challenges Ronnie Silk has had tonight.
And he does have a lot of lap traffic ahead of him, so hopefully not deja vu for the 51. He's going to close in on Jacob Perry, who was the catalyst, and he was one of the drivers involved in the initial incident that took out Ron Silk. Perry almost went right up over the hood of the number 16. He's the first to go, or the next to go down one lap. Woody Pick had one lap in arrears in car number 6. Your second place driver is the 06. That is Sammy Ramo. He has faded quite a little bit. They've stretched it out a bit. Doug Coby rides in third. Roby is fourth. Bonsignor is in fifth. Good battle for 6, though. We continue to watch Anthony Nocella and also Austin Beers in number 64.
Austin Beers not having the run that he needs to have here tonight to keep his name in the championship hunt. Car 64 runs 7th right now. Fastest in practice, qualified second for this race, but he got hung out on the outside lane early on. Now he moves to the bottom of Anthony Nocella. That'll move him into the 6th position, but Austin Beers and this 64 team not having the race that they need to have a good run and keep pace with Justin Bonsignor tonight.
But it's also a teaching race for Austin Beers, who still is learning the Whelen Modified Tour. Learning to, looks like, thought we might have some problems there, but learning to take a race car that is about 6th or 7th and just not overdriving it and doing something that's going to make the situation even worse. So it's interesting to watch Austin Beers have that 7th place race car and keep it a 7th place race car. Probably wouldn't have seen that a couple of years ago.
Here's Matt Kimball in the 43 on the right side of your screen. Ronnie Silk behind him, trying to pick up a spot. Silk outside the top 10 right now, running in the 12th position. Left side of your screen, lap traffic is where it's at. Justin Bonsignor has been fighting that over the past couple of laps, but he's been able to open up the advantage that he has on the 06, second place, and that's Sammy Ramo. Here comes Ken Hagee to the inside lane. Outside goes Justin Bonsignor. He'll quickly move by him and get a little bit of a breather, but the car directly in front of Justin Bonsignor is the man he's chasing in the championship. Ron Silk will be the next car that Justin Bonsignor catches to put a lap down.
So the pit stops didn't put him a lap down. The accidents didn't put him a lap down. But Justin Bonsignor, under green flag conditions, might put your championship leader down one lap within the next 7 or 8 laps if they continue on this pace. And Silk gets a little loose off of turn number 2. fighting a loose-handling race car. He is Justin Bonsignor. He can just, and he knows what's going on, too. He definitely can seize this opportunity and smell it.
They only had about 60 seconds or so to repair the damage that was suffered on the front of that 16 car. You can't imagine that that was enough time to get the car perfect. Certainly, it's better than most, but certainly not perfect for the 16 of Ronnie Silk. And Justin Bonsignor knows right now, right here, he could help himself. He can trap Ronnie Silk a lap down if he plays his cards right. He wants to get to that 16 car. He wants to be aggressive and give himself the best opportunity to capitalize on the struggles that Silk has had today.
And more importantly, he might want to put down the two drivers ahead of Ronnie Silk, as there goes Matt Kimball slicing down to the inside. The local fans on their feet off of turn number 4 for the 43.
Matt Kimball has a cheering section here at Monadnock Speedway, pointing in the air and pushing Matt Kimball's 43 forward. They're excited to see their favorite driver move to the front. Good battle, though. Kyle Bonsignor continuing to fight with Brian Roby, and Justin Bonsignor now within arm's reach of the 16 car of Ronnie Silk.
One of the biggest moments of the entire year set to unfold on your screen on Flow Racing and before your eyes here in person. Justin Bonsignor in car number 51 putting point leader Ronnie Silk down one lap. He goes to the outside in turn number 3.
Ron Silk gave him the lane to the right side, but he's not going to make it easy for Justin Bonsignor to get by. Silk does not put up much of a fight, though, and here comes Bonsignor. They nearly come together off turn number 2, but Bonsignor is able to get away from Ronnie Silk, and he puts the championship point leader one lap down.
Interesting from 1 week ago where he finished 15th and Silk maximized the opportunity. The roles are completely reversed. And what's turned out to be a prophetic comment from Ron Silk, he said, you know what? That's one thing that happened to Justin, but I'm worried that the same thing could happen to me. It could easily happen to me, and tonight, to some degree, it has. Now, Ron Silk is still on the racetrack, albeit he's one lap in arrears, but still having a very, very tough night in the number 16 race car.
But he's the first car a lap down is Tyler Ripkema in the 32 car, and that would trap Ronnie Silk back a lap down. So watch Silk now. He'll be aggressive, trying to get around Ripkema. He steps that car sideways up off turn number 4, directly behind the race leader, Justin Bonsignor. That battle, just as important as any other battle we watch on the racetrack now, between the 32 and the 16, the battle to be the free pass, the lucky dog. It's off turn 4.
32 and number 16. Ronnie Silk knows this. So does Tyler Ripkema. So there are 2 races on the racetrack. There's obviously the leader, but there's also the battle to be the first car one lap down and get that lucky dog as the field comes up on lap number 100. Again, a shorter race than the last couple of Monadnock races for the Whelen Modified Tour.
Here's Austin Beers. He's in 6th right now, trying to find the 5th position to try to get another top 5 here this evening. Under 50 laps to go, and Austin Beers moves into 5th. Brian Roby, his car starting to fade as we get deeper and closer to the checkered flag.
Give a call to the number 6, too. Woody Pitcat having a good night right behind Craig Lutz. They're a couple of positions behind Brian Roby right now, but I believe this would be their first top 10 finish if they're able to close it out in quite some time. So certainly not the best results this team had been hoping for this year, but nice to see them run on the lead lap and run strong here tonight.
Justin Bonsignor has lap cars of Brett Meserve in the 59, Matt Kimball to the outside. Looking at what happened a week ago, you've got to think that Justin Bonsignor is going to be a little bit careful working through the lap traffic. Gets by Brett Meserve in the 59. Now a very quick Matt Kimball to his inside in turn 3.
And Kimball, this is a big moment for him. He knows he's racing in front of his hometown fans. Doesn't want to go down a lap, and is going to do everything he can. Gets loose off of turn number 2. Bonsignor, the 3-time champion, goes to the outside, and with kid gloves using the 43 for right now, but I don't think that's going to last for a long time.
He really is being careful. You can see how much room he's giving the 43 of Matt Kimball. He continues to give him room, not willing to pull to the inside until he knows and feels it inside his race car that he's completely clear of the 43. Justin Bonsignor trying to have a mistake-free 44 laps to bring this around to the checkered flag and do all he can to maximize the day.
That's how he's won 3 titles in this division. You know, these drivers primarily race around each other every single week, 18, 19 times a year. The 43 is an outlier. He's only run a couple of times, so Justin doesn't necessarily know what to anticipate when being around him. Maybe that's why he took the extra couple of laps to get around, and once he did, lights out for him. Good battle on the racetrack. It's up again. It's Austin Beers and Kyle Bonsignor in turn number 3.
Austin Beers has found late run speed. He did not have speed early on, and unfortunate for him, getting stuck in the outside lane put him so back behind the race leader. He's 5 seconds behind Justin Bonsignor, and not a lot of time to be able to track him down. But Austin Beers has now moved into 4th. Kyle Bonsignor bumped back to 5th, and Doug Kobe about a second and a half ahead of Austin Beers, within range to move inside the top 3.
Lap 111. They continue to click it off in the Whelen Granite State Cup. We could see 2 different drivers become champions here in the next 20 or so minutes. Whether it's Justin Bonsignor is the champion of the Winchester Fair, but who's going to win the championship of the Whelen Short Track Cup? Currently, your favorite is Doug Kobe, and what an emotional victory it would be for that Tommy Baldwin team to come back to the racetrack and win a championship within a championship battle over the 3 races we've done here in New Hampshire.
Bonsignor, screen left, bypassing the Nathan Wenzel, number 81, as he made his Whelen Modified Tour debut here tonight. Pulled double duty of the NASCAR Modifieds earlier. To the right, you see a great battle, Tyler Ripkema and Sammy Ramu. Sammy Ramu currently running in the 2nd spot, and Doug Kobe in this lap traffic is closed right into the back bumper of Ramu.
He tried to the inside last time around, but the 6-time champion stays right behind the young 20-year-old as they both work the outside. And look who has caught these 2 drivers. It's now a 3-way race for second. Here comes Austin Beers to the inside, looking low on Doug Kobe.
Beers is closing in. Remember, the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup Championship, 6 positions separate Doug Kobe and Austin Beers. Right now, Kobe would be the champion if it ended now, but Beers needs to find a way around him if he's got any chance at winning the Cup here tonight.
And 64 is laser diamond eyes right now. He knows that. He goes right after the 7 as they go around the lap number 59. Laps winding down, lights on the racetrack. These cars ultra fast off of turn number 4.
Austin Beers in the white 64 screen right. Doug Kobe in the 7 New York running 3rd at the moment. Since they got through the lap traffic, Sammy Ramu has been able to drive away from these 2 drivers. There is the 22 car of Kyle Bonsignor. His car currently runs in the 5th spot.
51 has had an incident-free night and just checking out nicely. Look at this battle. They're now side-by-side. Battle for the championship and for 3rd in turn number 1.
Austin Beers working to the inside lane, but directly ahead is Ken Hagee. Ken Hagee will serve as a pick, and Doug Kobe is able to go around to the outside and hold on for now. But Beers back on the attack as they hit turn 4.
It looks like Kobe might be struggling just a little bit as Ramo has finally been able to pull ahead. He has not been able to do that for a number of laps. Now has put about 5 car lengths daylight between himself and Kobe. Beers has been side by side. Now tucks back in. Might have heated the tires up just a little bit. 2 car lengths up the back bumper of Kobe off of turn 2. And Kobe washes up the racetrack a bit.
And Beers will close in now, right to the back bumper in turn number 3. Beers trying to find a way around, but he follows in the tire tracks of Doug Kobe. Another lap down. It'll be 27 laps to go this time by, and Beers is there off turn 2.
Puts the left tires down on the yellow line through 1 and 2. Now turns number 3 and 4, completely different setup for these modified racing drivers. And this time, Doug Kobe pulls ahead just a little bit. Beers getting better off of turn number 2. Will close in one more time.
Beers a little bit better in turns 3 and 4. Doug Kobe a little bit better off turn number 2, and that's where the 2 drivers are trying to maximize their speed. Kobe misses a little bit wide that time in turn 1, and here comes Austin Beers.
There's been a number of opportunities for Austin Beers off of turn number 2. He hasn't been able to capitalize yet, but another one tells me that he's going to be to the inside of Doug Kobe if it happens again. Beers will go to the outside, takes a look down low, tries the crossover move, down the backstretch, he looks to the inside.
That's an aggressive move by Austin Beers. He locks up the left front tire. Doug Kobe will cross him up. They come together. Kobe gets sideways. He's back to 3rd. Now being challenged for the 4th spot as Kyle Bonsignor moves in.
Fans are on their feet watching Doug Kobe and Austin Beers lock tires. Kyle Bonsignor in car number 22 entering the chat as well.
Remember, championship
Meanwhile,
points.
further on back, Ronnie Sill continues to struggle. The big battle of the moment continues to be the one that you see on your screen. Now Austin Beers has pulled ahead. Certainly a fast race car. Put all that daylight between himself and Doug Coby. Coby and Bonsignor set to battle for fifth as the car continues to go away. That's another position for the 64 of Austin Beers.
That's important. Now 2 positions ahead. Remember, it was only 6 points the difference between Austin Beers and Doug Coby for the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup. Beers may catch Sammy Ramu to get one more spot. He's only about a half a straightaway ahead, and Beers is quickly closing in, but he's certainly not going to catch the race leader, Justin Bonsignor. The question is, how bad is Doug Coby's race car? Because it looks like it's starting to fade a bit after that contact with Austin Beers.
It is opportunity time for Austin Beers in car number 64. He has 18 laps. How bad do you want it? Car 64 trying to claim the Granite State Short Track Cup and $15,000, his share of $15,000 in extra point money, or excuse me, bonus money from Whelen Engineering. He's right there. It's down to 4 car lengths.
Doug Coby currently leading the way in the Whelen Granite Short Track Cup Championship. Can he hang on? He's 3 points to the good as of now. Austin Beers, though, starting to close in on the second place car, Sammy Ramu. Ramu now 5 car lengths ahead in turn 1.
If Coby loses one spot and Beers gains another, it's going to get very interesting over the last 15 laps. Scorers working overtime trying to figure out who's going to be the champion of the Granite State Short Track Cup.
The next car behind Doug Coby rides in 6th. It's Anthony Nocella. Nocella is 2 seconds behind, so Coby has some cushion here with 14 laps to go. The battle on for second. Sammy Ramu has had an outstanding race here today, looking for a banner day in his Whelen Modified Tour career. Looks in the rearview mirror, and Austin Beers is closing quickly.
Visibly faster as they work their way down into turn number 3. Beers locked onto the back bumper. Coby is just helplessly watching this and hoping that he can stay in front of Nocella. That's how close this is in the final 12 laps.
Bonsignor in thick traffic as Austin Beers works to the inside, and he'll take the runner-up spot away. Justin Bonsignor has a straightaway advantage and 4 seconds over Austin Beers, but lap traffic, we have seen it time in and time out, has been a factor, and Bonsignor is right in the thick of it.
He does go around Ronnie Silk. Silk, a very, very tough night for him. He's 2 laps in arrears, and now Bonsignor will go around Tyler Ripkema. Good news for Bonsignor. He has clear sailing once he gets around the 32, and just so perfectly gives him enough room. Stays up in groove number 2, clears the driver, and now sets sail for the final 9 laps all by himself.
They were 6 points separate, Doug Coby and Austin Beers, when they came into the race. Right now, Doug Coby runs 3 positions, or 3 points behind where Austin Beers runs. He's got to get up there and win the race, does Austin Beers, and he needs to have some luck. Doug Coby would have to lose a couple of positions in the final 8 laps to determine who will be the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup. Right now, everything pointing to Doug Coby's favor.
3 races, nearly 500 laps of competition, and it's all coming down to a few scant points between Doug Coby and Austin Beers in the Granite State Short Track Cup. Right now, advantage Coby. Your leader, meanwhile, is in turn number 3. Under the lights, it's Justin Bonsignor, who has led pretty much this entire event, and with 5 laps to go, is chasing down the champion, or trying to be the champion of the Winchester Fair, the inaugural Winchester Fair, the 51 in turn number 3.
As we look at it, Justin Bonsignor now 3 points as well behind Doug Coby, with a chance to win the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup. You get extra points for winning races, and he has led the entire way so far today, has Justin Bonsignor. It is not over yet, because he could also become the champion tonight. Down to 3 laps to go for Justin Bonsignor. Austin Beers in second on the right-hand side of your screen has cut the advantage down, now down to 3.5 seconds, but time is running out.
This is absolutely wild. Bonsignor has dominated this race, and can he dominate his way into a short track championship? We're going to find out in just the next few minutes. The 51 pulls it off at turn number 4 on the final lap.
Final time around for Justin Bonsignor. He's already run 4 races here at Monadnock Speedway, and he's looking for a 5th here tonight. Back straightaway in a dominating run for Bonsignor from Holtzville, New York, will score the victory here at Monadnock. He wins the Winchester Fair. Across the line in second will be Austin Beers, Sammy Ramu in third, Kyle Bonsignor in fourth, and across the line, Doug Kobe finishes in fifth here tonight, and unofficially, I do believe, will be the 2023 NASCAR Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup champion for Doug Kobe. Justin Bonsignor has won the race, dominated, won the pole position, and wins the race for his fifth ever Whelen Modified Tour victory here at Monadnock Speedway for Justin Bonsignor. Austin Beers, a valiant effort today, came home second. They will tie, I do believe, in the official standings of the Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup title was Justin Bonsignor and Austin Beers, but that'll be for second. Sammy Ramu came home in third. The 7 New York of Doug Kobe was fifth on the day. Make some noise, race fans, as Justin Bonsignor makes his victory lap around this quarter-mile racetrack here in Monadnock, Winchester, New Hampshire. And Justin Bonsignor, victorious tonight and the champion of the Winchester Fair. And the official word from the tower and the NASCAR officials is that Doug Kobe has won the 2023 Whelen Engineering Granite State Short Track Cup. By just 3 points, Kobe will be the champion. And what a moment for that team, but it's Justin Bonsignor who wins and takes advantage of the struggles that Ron Silk had tonight. Reverse of what happened a week ago when Ronnie Silk won the race. It was Justin Bonsignor that had similar problems, and the championship battle for the 2023 season has gotten very tight. Let's go trackside to Winchester Fair Victory Lane in Andy Austin.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing race. A great championship battle. 3 drivers, 3 points, 3 races. Pretty wild stuff. This driver comes up big tonight and is a champion, but a champion of Winchester Fair. Unofficially, your champion for the Granite State Short Track Cup will be Doug Kobe, who we'll hear from in just a second. But unbuckling all the safety equipment, I mean, there are bounce back weeks, and then there's stuff like this. Just getting out there, dominating the event, led nearly all of it, unchallenged, very, very good with lap traffic. And you guys who are here in attendance, it's Saturday night. You've been sweating all afternoon. You've been rained on. It's time to welcome this champion into Victory Lane. Make some noise for when he gets out of the race car. He certainly deserved it. And he's back in the championship battle, one big race at a time, as they continue to close down or start to close down the 2023 racing season. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out of the race car, your champion of the Winchester Fair. It is Justin Bonsignor. Justin, congratulations. Hot inside the race car. Great performance. Oh, a broken hand, too. Thumb. Yeah, so racing injured and absolutely dominated tonight. You okay, bud? We'll give you a moment on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great race, though. We're not done with the season. Modified's going down right to the last moment, and now we got him in victory lane. You are a champion of the Winchester Fair. Dominating performance tonight, Justin.
I just want to thank all the fans for coming out. I know the weather's been looking terrible all week, so appreciate all you guys coming out to this and JDV for putting us on. Yeah, we needed this after last week. I made a big mistake last week and just put myself in a bad spot racing for a championship. And guys worked all week, same car. Ryan, all the Connecticut crew guys just hustled all week to get this car turned around because we've been running it lately, and it's been paying big dividends for us. Now another win at Thompson in here. So fought back tonight, a little injury, broke my thumb in that wreck, so I've been dealing with that all week. But I just want to thank Phoenix Communications, Clearcom IT Solutions, Robbie Gates Racing Engines, Fury Race Cars, M3 Technologies, the whole pit crew, like I said, for everything they did this week. Ken and Janine Massa for sticking with us on a tough, expensive week. So we're back in it. It looked like he might have had a bad night tonight, and you just can't give up in these things. So 4 more to go, and it's going to be a dogfight.
Ladies and gentlemen, a champion of the Winchester Fair. Check out the trophy. Justin Bonsignor is your champion of the race. Hold on, we're about to meet our champion for the Granite State Short Track Cup, and it was close right down to the wire. For just a moment before we crown our champion, I'm going to send it down up top side to Joe Koss for just a second.
All right, so Justin Bonsignor, champion of the Winchester Fair here in 2023. Victorious tonight. Hey, while we got a minute, get your 50-50 raffle tickets. Sorry, scratch that. How about a Jack Daniels cooler? Get those tickets out. It's a red ticket, ticket number 741-4303. 741-4303. Kylie D on the back of that ticket, so be sure to head to the beer stand. That's a good place to get a Jack Daniels. Kyle Bonsignor celebrating, or Justin Bonsignor rather, celebrating the championship of the inaugural Winchester Fair. And boy, that shorter distance at 150 laps certainly added to the drama, added to the intrigue of this one. The championship battle on the year-long stage for the Whelen Modified Tour title now has 4 races left to go, and it is getting tight at the top. Ronnie Silk, with the struggles he had tonight, will finish 12th. And Justin Bonsignor, after crashing last week, will be able to get back a lot of what he lost. Unofficial points have not been released, but by just my quick math, I think Silk will still have the championship lead by only by a few markers when we roll into the Riverhead Raceway on Long Island next weekend. And both those drivers, Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignor, have been a big part of the action there. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour makes an inaugural trip to North Wilkesboro Speedway the last weekend in September. Then off to Thompson Speedway for the World Series of Speedway Racing on Sunday, October 8th. And we'll wrap things up at the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, where they'll race for a grandfather clock in the championship of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour in 2023 on a Thursday night, as that'll lead into the penultimate weekend of the NASCAR National Series. And we'll set up the championship 4 leading into the race in Phoenix in early November. But the Whelen Modified Tour, still a lot of racing left to go here, even as we work through the middle of September. 4 races still on the calendar, and it is exciting. If you've got the opportunity, Riverhead Raceway may be a long way for some of you to go, but it's a great racetrack to watch some action at. We'll be there next Saturday night. Thompson Speedway, not all that far away as well, down in October, World Series weekend, an outstanding event. And then down at Martinsville is a good one, too. So we'll move Justin Bonsignor from Victory Lane, and then that will open up the opportunity to move Doug Coby into the championship circle, where he has won the 2nd season of the Whelen Engineering Granite State Short Track Cup. Matt Hirschman was the inaugural champion a year ago. But tonight, it's Doug Coby, and the story of this one, Doug Coby charted out this year with a full-time ride in that 70 York and Tommy Baldwin Racing. And in the month of August, Tommy announced a diagnosis with cancer that would pull him away from racing, and he's undergoing treatments now on a regular basis, radiation, chemotherapy. Tommy said, I feel good enough to bring my race car to the track tonight. I want to go after the Whelen Engineering Granite Short Track Cup, and he did so. And he brought Doug Coby, who won this race in May and now is here at Monadnock Speedway in Victory Lane, where Andy Austin is, to be awarded the crown and the championship in the 2023 Whelen Engineering Granite Short Track Cup.
There is so much act down here talking between Justin and Doug. A great rivalry here. It's real fun to listen to. But, man, it came right down to this. 3 drivers, 3 points, 3 races, and this driver gets the championship for the Granite State Short Track Cup presented by Whelen. When he exits this race car, give him a big round of applause. Make some noise for your champion, Doug Coby! Doug, congratulations. You know, it's been an emotional couple of weeks. Can you take us through what tonight means for you and your race team?
Yeah, just to be here with our family and with Tommy battling cancer. I mean, he's a warrior. He told us from the beginning he was gonna fight through this, and he's been courageous enough to share his battle and everything on social media, which is pretty uncommon. So to be here as the Whelen Granite Short Track Cup champions, it just means a lot. You know, we missed 2 races and kind of threw our season up in the air, but we've got a great group of guys, and Tommy really wanted to be here to do this. Want to thank Josh, JDV Productions, for doing stuff like this. There's really nobody other than Josh that does bonus money and extra stuff just to come race in New Hampshire, so that's pretty neat. Want to thank Mayhew Tools for being with us, Baldwin Automotive, and all my crew guys. You know, these guys really work hard to come here. This car's based down south in North Carolina, so it's a long drive all the time, and Tommy fields a lot of cars for a lot of drivers on the East Coast. So this is for Tommy Baldwin, and thank the fans for coming tonight. Thanks Monadnock Speedway, and little extra cash for the 7NY.
Yeah, that is amazing. Doug, stay here. I want to introduce president and founder of JDV Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Josh Veneta.
Doug, I've had the opportunity to congratulate you on 6 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour championships. Today, I congratulate you as the 2023 Whelen Granite State Short Track Cup champion. It's bittersweet with Tommy going through some stuff, but so happy to present this to you. On behalf of Whelen Engineering, we have Assistant Manager of Motorsports, Michelle Mandel, to present you with the 2023 Cup. Congratulations.
Thanks, Josh. We really appreciate it, and we want to thank Whelen especially for, obviously they support the tour, but then they go above and beyond and do this extra stuff for New Hampshire short track racing. So thanks to you and your whole staff. You guys are awesome. Really take care of the fans and the teams, and doing some extra stuff for this series is much appreciated.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you and the rest of the Whelen Modified Tour back here in 2024. Back to you, Joe.
There is, race fans, one more time, a round of applause for the entire Tommy Baldwin Racing 7 New York, Doug Kobe, the 2023 Whelen Engineering Granite Short Track Cup champion. They'll continue the celebration down at Victory Lane here at Monadnock. Stay with us. We still have 3 feature events left to go. It's great that you're here with us, the diehard fans here in New England, New Hampshire. We love it, and we're ready to continue on the program. We've got more to come.